Hey, Jules the Doula here, welcoming you to the Virtual Mama Connection. Listen in with me every week as we bring you birth stories and experiences straight from our parents' hearts, always providing you a lifeline of education and communication, keeping you ahead of the game with the best care providers and educators. And just a little reminder out there, anything you hear on our podcast is not to be used as medical advice. Please visit our disclaimer on thevirtualmamaconnection.com. Oh my gosh, Taryn, I'm so glad you're with us. This is going to be so much fun. And I see that we don't just have Taryn today, we have Myrtle. And look who's here, Gilbert. Gilbert decided to join us as well. Gilbert is, come on, Gilbert, get on the camera. There he is. Gilbert, I know, he always sticks his tongue out. So Gilbert's one of our little Frenchies. And then here, Coco wasn't in here, but she wanted to come too. This is Coco.
I love their outfits.
She's so fun. She usually sits on my lap when I teach. And it's funny because my students will hear and they're like,
what is that snoring, breathing?
Is there something snoring in your office? I'm like, oh, that'd be my Coco. Yes. Anyways, this is going to be fun, such a fun segment because we love animals and This is what you do. You are a master canine specialist and really like canine behavioralist. You understand the psychology of not just the dogs, but really all animals, I'd say.
Not all animals, because they all communicate very differently, but most of the animals that I'm very interested in, I tend to read every book on, but dogs have been a passion of mine since I was a child. So I've focused a majority of my studies and work with dogs.
Well, and you've worked with some of my clients before where, it's great because you really understand the psychology of like what our little furry family is thinking. Right. And then a lot of my clients have dogs before they have babies. Right. And it's the family. And then now we're bringing our little human child into the household and we have to blend them together. So talk to me and all of our listeners about that. What's some good advice about when you're bringing home that newborn to consider for the dog, for the family, for everybody?
So, bless you, Myrtle. So for me, I'll try to bless you, Myrtle. For me, it's what I focus on if we're talking about clients and people that you have introduced me to, and I've worked with before. Majority of them are first-time moms or people having their second or third child that got a dog in between children and don't really know how to properly integrate and keep that family dynamic somewhat normal when a baby coming home can be chaotic. It's a time of stress a little bit and joy, but for moms, we're hormonal and worried about everybody. So for me, I think one of the number one things that I tell a lot of moms and dads and pet owners is trying to keep routine, your dog's routine. So if routine isn't something that you normally have with your dog during the pregnancy, really trying to create a routine that dog can rely on and know what's happening throughout the day, even as simple as, your alarm beeps at 5:30 or 6 a.m. Getting up at 5 a.m. And just feeding your dog, letting your dog out for a pee, maybe even just having your coffee outside with your dog, throwing the ball. If going for a walk isn't an option, just maintaining that type of routine after baby is really important, just to lessen anxiety.
So they're getting attention too, right? They're still getting some attention. It's hard.
Yeah, yes, it is hard, but it does lessen the stress of the parents too, because keeping some kind of normalcy when you have such a big change like bringing a baby home does lessen anxiety in people too. It's just trying to maintain some form of balance that can transcend before and after baby. Really does lessen the stress on your dog and everybody in the home.
I like that. Well, what are some things, what about the smelling the beanie or smelling the blanket before we bring
Yes.
the baby into the house? You know, we've all
Yeah,
heard
I
it,
hear
bring
that
the
a lot.
dog. Yeah. Bring the dog into the front yard, let them smell the blanket. Tell us about that. Does it really work?
Well, I think for me, I think it's more important that the dog has some boundaries.
Okay.
Because you can show a dog a beanie, like, oh, what a good smelling kid. Kind of smells like you. Oh, it's a baby. Great. That doesn't mean that they're going to respect the baby's personal space. That doesn't mean that they understand that that baby's room is not their room too, like, so for me, like, what I tell clients when I come over before the baby is, hey, guess what, like, the dog really shouldn't be allowed in the Myrtle, can you not? She's on her back, like, oh my god. The dog should not be allowed really in the baby's room before the baby is born, and after. That's not to say that if you're in the room with the baby and you'd like to welcome your dog in, that's fine, but there needs to be some type of a boundary that's created with that baby's room, and that will transcend to the baby's personal space, right? Because they see the world through their nose. So if you do bring the beanie home and the dog smells the beanie and grabs the beanie and goes for a run, that's not teaching the dog to respect that scent.
Okay.
You always want to start there. Respect this. We don't play with the baby's toys or the kids' toys. These are your toys. We don't enter the room and run around the room like it's a different room, like it's our room. It's not. You can be welcomed in and you can be shooed out.
So our furry family, the furry babies, need to have their safe place, right?
Correct.
In their
Yes.
space.
Yes.
And respect the space of the baby. So there's definitely different places.
There's a balance.
Yeah. And
should be a
creating the
balance.
boundaries. Right.
Yes. And like what you said, how I kind of work with dogs, about place for me. And, a lot of trainers will have like, oh, go to your bed or go to your place, or certain areas that they know, other people who work with dogs know that dogs need to feel like they have their own space. And when they're in that space, that they're not really to be bothered. That really cuts down on any I wouldn't say aggressive, but any confrontational interaction between children and dogs. It's not really fair that you let your kids manhandle your dog in their own space. That's asking for your dog to have to say that's enough when that's your responsibility as a mom or dad and as a pet owner. So what I always say, if my dogs are on their bed, my daughter's not allowed to approach them or bother them, because that's them saying that this is my space. She's more than welcome to walk a little bit farther away and ask the dog to come near her and play, invite the dog, but we don't push a dog or any animal to do anything.
I like that, because if your dog's on their little doggy bed, right? Maybe he needs a timeout. Maybe he's
exactly.
like, I'm a little burned out.
And people miss that communication, like even with people, like 80% of communication is nonverbal.
Yes.
And for dogs, it's all of it. So you have to be really aware of your dog's body language. If your dog's turning its back towards your child and side-eyeing, like kind of go away, and your child's not respecting that, there is going to be a correction there. That is normal canine behavior: a growl, run away, hide. Some dogs will fight or flight, and they do the flight. They're like, oh God, get away from me, children are too much. Or you might get a growl and people lose their mind. It's like, you got to understand, this is how they communicate. It's up to you to protect your child and to protect your dog.
Right. Well, and now we're talking about the behavior, right, of the dog. They're communicating. What is the dog communicating when, let's say, they've always been good, they potty outside, we don't have any of those issues, and now all of a sudden the dog peed in the house, or the dog started chewing on the table, or things like that. What is the dog saying? Hey, I need some attention here. Or is the dog more overwhelmed with the space, like more energy in the home? What would you say?
This is what I say. Dogs exhibit any behavior like chewing, urination in spaces. Those are two different things. I'll start with the chewing. So chewing, doing parkour all over your couch, running around the house. That to me is a dog that has not getting its exercise needs met. and you need to step it up as a dog owner. So you need to get that walk in. Your dog's communicating, hey, I've got this extra bit of energy, and unfortunately I'm putting it into some bad stuff, you know.
Okay.
Chewing is sometimes matters the age of the dog, because if they're teething, obviously it feels good.
Right.
You know, say we have a 6-7-year-old dog, border collie, just for say, that that is starting to chew your kitchen table now that the baby's home. You know, like it, for me as a trainer, I'd say like, hey, has it gotten to run? You know, you got to meet as far as breeds, what they were bred for, and bred sometimes over 100 years to do what tasks, and try to meet those tasks. They're a work of art. You know, they are the biggest human experiment is the dog. You know,
Right.
we have really we have bred these animals to do certain tasks and to be a certain way, and it's up to us when we decide to buy one and bring it into our home that we meet those needs, because they are, you know, they're ancestral needs, you know.
Right.
And as far as peeing in the house, now obviously a dog squatting and peeing on the floor in front of you and making eye contact, that's not, he has something to say. He's like, hi, you've been ignoring me for 35 minutes. I've been telling you I have to go out, so here we go. You know, sometimes you get that. And then sometimes you'll get a dog that all of a sudden is jumping up on the couch where you've been laying the bassinet for the baby, and peeing where you've been laying the bassinet. That's a dog saying, hey, like, I like to lay there, and let me just communicate that this spot's mine.
Okay.
What that tells me is that dog doesn't have its own spot.
Uh-huh.
That's when having your dog's place is huge. You know, they're always saying something. They communicate. They live in packs, so they live
Right.
harmoniously most of the time, and they communicate no problem to each other. Sometimes they're a little aggressive with each other, obviously, but you know, they have packs.
And in the pack
Mm-hmm,
environment, right? They
mm-hmm,
all
mm-hmm.
have a job. So our
Yes.
dogs always need a job, no matter what the breed, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Or, well, not necessarily. Some dogs know their job. Like um, some of these breeds that were bred for straight companionship, they just want to be with their owner. And then sometimes you get some separation anxiety, like the Frenchie.
Right.
They need to be with their people or they get
Oh yeah.
anxiety.
Uh-huh.
Yes, because they are bred for companionship. That's what they're bred for. Or you get an Australian Shepherd that's bred to herd, and you get, my kids are running in the backyard and my Australian Shepherd is biting at their legs and keeping them all contained and then scared, and they're barking. And you know, it's like, well, it's an Australian Shepherd. He's doing what he's been bred to do, and we need to run him and get that extra energy gone so he doesn't feel the need or the obsessive compulsive behavior to herd the family.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then what about the families that are considering buying a dog? Do you ever do any
Mm-hmm.
coaching sessions with them? Or, I mean,
Absolutely.
because
Yes.
you know so much about the different breeds, what their little personalities are, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what those that need jobs, those that need more physical activity, that type of thing, more
Yes.
attention. So
Yes.
you could kind of help steer a family that might want a dog into
Yes.
picking the right
Yeah.
one.
Absolutely. And I've done that before, and I enjoy doing that because it shows me a family that really wants to have success with their family dog. So what I do then is just have a conversation like this, and we talk about, you know, what they want to do with their dog. What do they want as far as friendship? What do they consider friendship? You know, you'll get some people that's like, oh, I like to bike 3 miles a day, and I want my best friend with me, or, you know, compared to somebody that's like, well, you know, I'm a Netflix and chill person, and I want to have a cuddler. You know, everybody has a different description of what canine friendship is, and there's such an amazing variety of breeds. I'm really good at kind of matching what breed would give them that friendship.
That's awesome. Now, what about the families that they have like some behavior issues going on with their
Mm-hmm,
little furry friend, and they have a newborn at home, or even a
mm-hmm.
toddler, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
at any point they need someone to come out like you. How long does it really take? Like, what does that first visit look like when you go out there? And then I'm sure it is on a case by case basis,
It totally is. It totally is. It's like, it's dog psychology. So it's, every dog is different. Was that dog rescued? Was that dog abused? What, has that dog been spoiled rotten from day one with no rules? Every dog is different. But a lot of the exhibiting behaviors, sometimes, I would say majority of the time, are breed related. Now, you get some PTSD that you've seen with like rescue dogs, that take a different type of training. So I wouldn't necessarily consider myself like a treat trainer, like sit, stay, lie down. What I do is I'll come to your house, say, let's say, make up a problem with your dog at home.
I have one. I do have one.
Okay.
So whenever we have more company at my house, Gilbert, sorry, Gilbert.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I'm telling on him.
Calling Gilbert out.
I'm calling him out. He'll pee. He'll just go pee like on Patrick's shoe in the closet, or he'll go pee in a corner, or in the bathroom on the bathroom
Is he
mat. And I'm like,
fixed?
No, he is not fixed. But he never, ever, ever does this.
He's communicating.
Unless we get more people in the house. And I feel like, is he just upset? He's like, this is just too much for me.
So
I'm mad. So he's everywhere.
No. So when it comes to intact males, and some trainers will tell you, it doesn't make a difference. I'm going to tell you, for me, maybe not for those behavioralists. For me, I just asked you, was I wrong?
Right.
Okay. So he's not fixed. So he's a male, full male. And he's intact. He's, when they're intact, they're a little bit more worried about, oh, this person's coming in. Where do I belong? Where do I belong now? This is a new pack member. Where do I belong? So what he's doing is he's peeing on all his favorite people's shoes.
That's funny. Okay, but that makes sense because he does have Patrick. I mean, if Patrick's here, he's like on,
Correct. So he's constantly. Like, cool, you're here. I just want Patrick, he's mine.
Okay, right. And the bathroom, that part of the bathroom is mine. So he's marking his areas. Are those his favorite areas where he sleeps? Sometimes, yeah.
There you go. So when he's intact, he's going to have more of those urges to pee in those areas, because you got that testosterone, that need to conquer, that need to own.
Right. So more people are coming into the house, and he's like, okay.
He's like, oh God, now they better not sit on my favorite bathroom mat, and they better not touch my Patrick.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Just, what a fun job you have.
It is. Or it's very frustrating. It's one or the other, because I can take anybody's dog and bring him into my home and fix it. Fix what's going on. But it's hard sometimes with people. I'm like, listen, I told you, this is all that needs to be done. But the follow through, you have to be consistent.
Consistency, yeah. But I don't think you give yourself enough credit with how so many other different animals. Like your parrot. I loved your parrot.
I know.
Loved her. And you really knew her. I'd walk into the house and you'd be like, oh, this is what she's saying. Right? Because she was very protective of you.
Oh yeah. That's why I had to find a home for her. Because with my 3-year-old daughter, I was worried about her fingers, because Wendy, at the time Ivy was 2 and would be on me, and Wendy would hobble. She couldn't fly. She never learned. I guess I rescued her, and she'd hobble over, and then she'd come after my daughter.
Right.
If my daughter was on me, and I'm like, this is a liability. Her beak was like this big. So I found a really wonderful lady who has parrots, and Wendy's got a little flock and sends me photos all the time. Oh. She's got her own Facebook account now too, so I keep up with her.
That's so nice. So sometimes there can come a time, right? Yes. As a parent, where sometimes we do need to find a new home. We go to all the extremes to not do that, but there are times where it's needed.
Yeah. I found myself, Wendy was a blue and gold macaw. She was huge. She's unbelievably intelligent. almost to the point where I'm like, no, parrots should be kept in captivity. I just learned so much about her. And I just was like, God, you're smarter than some of the people in my life. Just, you're unbelievable, and I knew that as a mom, my job is to protect my kid. That's my job,
100%.
and
Yes.
as a pet owner and as Wendy's owner, I was thinking, it's not, I don't want to keep you in your cage. That's not okay with me. Like Wendy before Ivy was running around my house, eating like with the dogs. Like she was a part, you saw her, she was a part of my family. Like she was free in my home. She would go use her potty in the cage. She's just brilliant bird. And I did not want to selfishly keep her in a cage and just keep her because I loved her. That's not loving her. That's not loving her. I wanted her to go to somebody that had the proper setup for her, and she could have another macaw, which she does have. She has 2 other macaws now, and they live in the wild, flocks of hundreds. So that's natural for them.
That's nice.
And I know that she's able to run around that house. I went over to that house. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like avian heaven, bird heaven. And I still can't watch videos of her though. Well, this morning I was looking at one with my daughter, looking at baby videos of her, and Wendy was in the background, and I cried still. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard to rehome, but
it is hard to rehome.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes we can bring others into our home later on, right?
Yeah.
When
absolutely.
The time and place is a good fit. And you taught me a lot about my donkeys. Remember when I first met you and I was just starting Cave Creek Bearborough, and you said, oh my gosh, they are like the protector of a ranch. I never knew that.
Yeah. They'll kill coyote dead.
Yeah, we never have coyotes on our on our property, and I've seen
they're
them in
so
action.
Smart.
They put their ears forward. They make a different sound.
Yeah.
And they pair up and they spread out.
Yeah.
And no, we don't get it.
Yeah, people don't realize and the intelligence of a donkey is unbelievable.
Yeah, I think I heard, and I don't know if it's true, that a donkey is as smart as a 3-year-old child. Have you heard that?
Yeah. So is a parrot.
Yeah, and so is a pig.
Yeah.
I have a pig. Yeah. She's naughty.
You do?
I do. We adopted her. Yeah.
What kind? No, I'm gonna like move in. Do you have an extra room?
Oh my gosh, her name is Sunny, and she's naughty. She's very naughty.
What kind of potbelly pig?
She was a little potbelly pig that friends of ours had, and they wanted her for their little girls, and she was darling.
But there's no such thing as a mini.
No, and then she got bigger and bigger, and they're like, oh my gosh, we can't have a pig in the house. Well, I didn't want a pig in the house either. So when we adopted her, she lived in the backyard until she started eating everything. Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
She ate my hibiscus. She ate everything.
Yeah.
So now she lives out in the arena with the burros and the horse. And
they love her. That's like the perfect setup for her.
They've totally accepted her. She eats with them. She bosses them around, actually. I think she thinks she is a burro.
Oh, yeah.
And so, we have a hodgepodge out there. And then you're helping us get we have 2 more burros coming, hopefully.
Yes.
Johnny and June Cash.
Minis.
Yeah, that's going to be hilarious. And then you remember Poncho, we adopted him. Look at him. He's on this cover here.
Oh my God. He's beautiful.
Isn't he handsome?
He is so beautiful.
So we adopted him from an Oklahoma kill shelter.
I remember
him. And now he's a celebrity on Finest Wedding magazine. He's our little star.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, you're gonna
Animals are the best. Aren't they just the best?
They are the best, and they are such therapy. Even when the pig's naughty, it's kind of funny. I'd come home, I'd find her in our fountain. She'd be sitting in the fountain, eating everything. So even though you're like, oh my God, I've got a pig in the fountain. You don't want the pig in the fountain, but it's kind of funny. It's the best. Not those everyone can say. Yeah.
Those are like core memories. Like people talk about core memories. I'm like, forever you're gonna think of that pig just like a jacuzzi in the fountain.
Yeah. Last year she was still on good terms, right? So she was still having run of the property. And so we're coming up on February. She had a little pink tutu on. So I have video of her in her pink tutu.
Do you
for
have an
Valentine's
Instagram
Day.
for your little farm?
No, but we should.
Oh my gosh, she would go viral.
We should.
Just the bratty little pig running around your little ranch.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I want to follow it right now.
We can't let her, pigs get PMS. She's not fixed.
Oh yeah. So do horses and burros.
Yeah, yes. So we have one Jenny. The rest are all gelded. So I don't really deal with any of that. But the pig, she's not fun.
I
She
ride a
doesn't
mare
like me.
right now.
Okay.
Yeah. You gotta be in a good mood.
Yes.
Mares, you gotta be on their good side. You ever get on a mare's bad side, they don't forget a thing.
Isn't that funny? That's the piece that I say you're not giving yourself enough credit for, because all of these different little creatures, you understand their behavior and their personalities, and then it just blows up for you big time with the canine.
Right? Yeah, for me it's like, I was bringing home, okay, just to give you an idea of me as a child, I had like dogs in the neighborhood that would run away from their owners and jump fences and come hang out with me. I had Sasha, which was a husky that would jump its fence every day in the summer and come play with us in the cul-de-sac. And when I lived in Nashville, I had a dog, golden retriever named Peaches, that would run away and come sit at my door and wait for me to come play. Next door, there was a Rottweiler named Ramsey that I played with every single day. I would knock on the door like it was a person. Can I play with Ramsey? And
that's so sweet.
They just have been a part of my life.
And you know what? Dogs are sensitive. They know. So they know when they know you're an animal person. So before we go though, because like I have a family, they're getting ready to have a baby, right?
Yes.
Any day. They have the most darling golden doodle.
Oh,
and this family,
hyper.
And he's so precious. So
how old?
I don't know how old he is. He's on the younger side. So whether it be specific to this one or another, I know all the breeds are different, but I have other families that are getting ready to bring home babies, right? And they all have dogs. Everyone's got a dog. This one just comes to mind.
Life is not fulfilled without a dog.
I don't think so.
I'm sorry. Like it really isn't.
So what would be some good tips for these new families coming up? They're going to be bringing home a brand new baby, and seriously, like the golden doodle is their baby.
Yes.
The golden doodle is used to being the baby. So what kind of shifts are they going to see? What do they need to do to prepare?
So I want to talk to you about this, because I remember before we've talked about this, people think, oh, it's going to crush my dog when I bring home this baby. My dog's going to be crushed. Like I've said before with you, only the most successful packs have pups. So for your dog, it's just as excited as you are to have this sweet little baby. They get just a majority. You're always going to get one that's had a bad experience with kids, but that usually doesn't transcend to a newborn. They'll have time to warm up. But they get just as excited. It's an exciting, successful time in their eyes for the family and their pack. So I don't want people to ever think, oh, my dog's going to be crushed. No, if you have a healthy bond with your dog and a good relationship, your dog's excited for you. They're going through a huge, happy transition with you. And to touch on a little bit about what you said, routine, maintaining some of routine, getting up at the same time and letting them out, maybe taking them for a little 10, 15-minute walk, coming back, feeding them. You do go about your business throughout the day. Maybe if, most moms are home with the newborn,
right?
Maybe you have a frozen Kong where you put a bunch of peanut butter in there, and a bunch of dog kibble, the dog's kibble, and you put it in the freezer the night before. So midday, when your dog gets the zoomies and you're exhausted from, breastfeeding or feeding your baby in the middle of the night, you bring out that Kong. Now you got your dog mentally stimulated and working, and also physically, because it takes some work to get the Kong empty. And then dinner time, and then maybe a little stroll again. It's, if you can maintain some type of routine, your dog is going to be a lot happier and you are going to feel in control. Because I know for me, as a first-time mom, I had 3 dogs and a macaw. So for me, it was maintaining, feeling like I was in control even though the baby cried at all random hours of the night and cluster fed. I could keep some type of routine and it lessened my stress. And, my dogs felt better, because you got to remember, dogs can smell cortisol in your blood. So if you're at a high stress, your dog is going to be stressed too.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. I always forget about that cortisol, right?
Is the snoring dog right now?
Yeah. Do you hear Coco?
Like,
yeah, she's snoring. She's snoring. I'm rubbing her. She's just like,
yeah, she's so cute.
Well, tell all the listeners how they can get a hold of you if they want to do a coaching session, whether they're considering buying a dog or because you can help people virtually as well, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We can talk like this. You can tell me some of the behaviors that your dog's exhibiting, and I can tell you how to manipulate those behaviors based on dog psychology, and give you an understanding of why some of these behaviors are happening, because I feel like that is often missed with dog training. And that is my main focus as a behavioralist. I want to tell you, hey, guess what? Your dog's saying, Patrick's my man. Like, that's my buddy. Like, that's my guy, or hey, that's my spot. That made you feel like, oh, okay, I get it. I get it now. My suggestion for that, if we can touch on that, because I want to help you there. When people come over, send him outside to pee as much as he can, and shut the bathroom doors, and then keep him with you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that.
And if you see him straying, he's probably straying to go mark some territories. You say, get back here. Maybe you have a Kong. So you're getting the mind focused on chewing instead of, hey, I need to mark all my favorite places and people.
Keep them distracted and busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will do that.
Yeah. So my phone number, should I give it now or should I give it to you? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Because we're going to have people driving around listening to this, I'm sure. So
okay,
they can hear this and they can replay it if they need to.
Okay. So my number is 480-347-7612. You can just shoot me a text or call me, either one. And as far as a page, I use Facebook, and it's facebook.com/trainwithtaryn. TARYN. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you came on. We're going to have you back. It's always so fun. And I can't believe your little one's 3 already.
I know.
That's crazy.
I know. Time flies.
You're going to have her on a horse, I'm sure, here soon.
She's already on horses.
Yeah.
She's already every Tuesday.
That is so fun. That is awesome. Well, Taryn, thank you so much. And we'll definitely see you soon. And I would encourage everyone, give Taryn Ronning a call if you need some help with your little furry family. She's your gal. She'll help you out. And you'll at least have some understanding. Much. Yes. You bet.
I love it.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Jules. Nice seeing you.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. This segment brought to you by Cave Creek Beer Burrow. Add a little personality to your next party, wedding, or corporate event. Invite Cave Creek Beer Bros to entertain your guests, arriving in style and serving your beer, wine, or beverage of choice. We guarantee they will be the talk of your party. Check them out at cavecreekbeerborough.com or call 602-505-8559. You'll be glad you did.